Got one waiting. That's good. Good morning. Let's see if we can get this up on the channel. Good to see who's ever joining. One person, that's absolutely fine. That's all we need. That's all we need is one person. Let's click on that and I can actually see comments and your likes and what have you. Let's just turn that down. Comments and your likes. There we go. I can't remember. There we are. There are 8 live viewers. First of all, we got to do a check to make sure that you can hear me. If you can give me a big thumbs up or a comment. I don't know what I've done with this now. Let's see if we can get the comments on. If you can hear me, it'd be good if you can hear me. Top Notch, good morning. I can see Top Notch on here now. For some reason, I can't get it on. Let's get rid of that. There you are. Gareth Jones, Top Notch. Good to see Gareth Jones on here. Loud and clear, says Gareth. Top Notch says, good morning, Johnyboy. Good talking to you the other day, bud. And listening to you about your history and about where you're from and where you've been and what you're doing. So it's good to hear a few from there. Rodney, let's put my glasses on. These are my Michael Caines. Is that good or what? So have a look now. Gareth Jones. For some reason, I can't see it on here. Live chat. Let's just read it off there. John Ward, good morning. Happy New Year to you, John Ward. Happy New Year to all of you. And John, thank you very much for your message just before Christmas. Really, really appreciate it. So, welcome to Saturday Morning Live with Johnyboy. We're back at it, the first of many for 2022. We hope you all had a great Christmas. See, Alison's got me all organised here. Excuse me for chewing the gum, but my son said this morning my breath had stunk. Very nice. The number to call if you want to call in this morning, it'd be good to hear if you. Rob Fry's joined us. Henry Flint, good morning, Henry. Henry there from Elite Stone Tools. The number to call this morning is 07795 664 002. You can call in on that number and you can have your say and what you want to do and what you're thinking about and what's happening for you now. It doesn't have to be landscaping, it can be anything landscaping. John Ward says there, looking more like Brockton, mate. Who's Brockton? Who's Brockton? I want to check that out. Bricktop, Johnyboy. Oh yeah. Thank you very much, Bricktop. It says it all, doesn't it? Hey, thanks, John, for that. Really appreciate it. We want to hear all about your topics and what you want to talk about. Drop us an email via the website if there's anything you want to discuss. I promise I'll try and get back to all of you as and when I can. It's always difficult. Any time of the year, certainly this time of the year, where we're all getting going again and we're kickstarting our business and getting back into it, basically. Not kickstarting it, but getting back into the momentum of the business. First of all, we got to say, so if you want to drop us an email, the email is info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk. info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk. There is another website. It is called landscapesurvival.com. You can get on there. You can drop us an email there. Before we go any further, I promise that I have a list here. I have another list here of all the people that I promised that I would get their gifts out, and I will do it. It's all got to go. It's just that it's not fair for me to keep relying on Alison to do all that postage and packaging for me. So I got to get out there. I've got a few packages to send out, and I will do it, I promise. But first of all, we've got to say a big thank you to ITS, the tool guys. Whether you like them, whether you don't like them, it doesn't make no difference. The fact is that they support this channel. They support with gifts and prizes to give away, and they will in the future. And they've done it before, and they'll do it again. So they currently have a surplus stock sale on, and it ends on midnight on Monday. So get out to their website, www.its.co.uk. They're good guys. You may find products maybe sometimes a little bit cheaper somewhere else, but it doesn't really matter, because the fact is they want to give away on here. So they are giving back. This is a supplier, a manufacturer, whatever you want to, however you think of it. This is what I do. This is what I go to companies. I get them to be more accountable and start giving back. So get over their website, have a look, just check it out. www.its.co.uk. They're really nice guys over there at ITS. And what you have, if you had a problem, you got a go-between that somebody can, hopefully, like me, I can sort some things out for you. Next day delivery, 7 days a week. So head over to the website and check them out. Get over there, as I've said. Very quickly, John Ward will be interested. A lot of you guys will be interested. Ball Adhesives. Sorry about the gun again. Ball Adhesives are a big company. They've been producing adhesives for tiling for a long, long time. We had a meetup at Ball Adhesives in Stoke-on-Trent. I can't believe it, how time flies. Probably about 2 years ago, and they were brilliant. I mean, Dave Crowley, I think his name is. His knowledge was second to none on tiling and adhesives and grouting systems. And how he delivers the lecture is just mind-blowing. It really is. It's so interesting, so engaging, and it's something that if we do one in the future, it's something that you should consider getting on there. So important. Ball Adhesives have now got a new bedding mortar, and I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going up at the end of the month, which isn't far away. It's amazing. It's amazing to think we're nearly a month into the new year in 2022. So we're going to go be up there, going up there. We're going to do a bit of training. I'm going to do a bit of training, understanding about the bedding mortars. I've seen loads of different bedding mortars on there. John Ward, Justin, you would see there, Justin. You will see out there are loads of different types of bedding mortars that people are producing. Is it the way forward? I don't know. Possibly they spend an awful lot amount of money on research and development into these products. So we got to consider it. We got to think about it. And if we don't want it, if we don't want to use it, that's absolutely fine. But what we can do, we can start having some dialogue about it and start discussing it, like what we do on this channel. And I promise you, what we're going to be doing as and when, I'm going to go as live as much as I can this year on this channel. I said that before we had a bit of a problem, but it wasn't a problem, it was a great problem. I've become a grandfather, and Alison's become a grandmother. So we've got a grandson now, and it's great having him here. It's absolutely wonderful. I'd love to get him in here on a live feed sometime so you could actually see the little chap. Whether my daughter or not will allow him to be exposed to social media, I'm not quite sure. But let's read some of the comments that we actually have at the moment. Get my glasses on. I'm going to see it on there. For some reason, I can't. Oh, there we are. I've sussed it. So we've got Top Notch says, good morning, Gareth Jones, loud and clear. Gareth was the winner of the INAL breaker. Well done, Gareth. Roddy Mon, good to see you. Roddy, can hear you loud and clear. Justin from Brickroy and Building and Landscape, and Happy New Year to you all. John Ward says, good morning, John and Alison. Hope you're having a great start to the year, and the little one is causing too much sleepless nights. Well, not for me, John Ward. Just got to try and catch up now while we're at it. Mario Rizzi, hi mate, looking good. You been on a diet? I don't think so, Mario. I don't think so. Do you know, and actually, for me, it does drop off pretty fast. Like, you know, if I start doing something, like, you know, when you're back at work, but no diet for me. Just got to watch what you eat, mind. You've got to look after your health all the time. And if anybody got any opinions on good diet going forward, what we should be doing as individuals and doing the work that we do, we got to think of our health. Rob Fry says, good morning. Henry Flynn is on here from Elite Stone Tools. Bricktop, Johnyboy, Bricktop, yeah, absolutely brilliant, love it. We can hear from clearly, but the pictures is not clear. And I'm sorry for that. As long as you can hear me, that's the most important thing. Getting going, COVID and the weather is a joy to behold, lads. Yeah, the weather is absolutely awful at the moment. And I apologise for the image at the moment. Let me just see if I can refresh that on there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it because it's the weather. But the good news is that it looks like we may be getting fiber down to the undisclosed location, so we'll be able to start doing live streams from the studio itself. We've got 15 live views on here. I don't care even if it's one. It's so important that we keep going with this. John Ward says, do you know what Nemesis means, Rob Fry? Yeah, that's brilliant. Brick rain for 3 days, says Justin on there. Look, I've caught up. Feed him to the pigs. Happy New Year. Yeah, brilliant. Ronnie Mon says, first time I caught on you on a live. It's in the morning here in the States. Oh, brilliant. Big, that's great to hear. Big shout out to you. Found you on when I was researching for a 20mm porcelain. Rodney, mate, I tell you now, I'm so pleased. I'm sorry that you're not receiving a clear image at the moment, but it's so good to actually have somebody from the States on here. And this is what we do on a Saturday morning. I'd like to know a little bit more about you, Rodney. If you want to do, even after this live stream, if you want to do a FaceTime with me, if you want to do a WhatsApp, send me a link and we can have a chat, Rod. And I'd love to talk to you. Visited my mate in Matt Sloan there in Kentucky a couple of years ago, and I loved everything about the States and love what you guys are doing out there. And I want to hear from everyone across the globe if we can do it. So big shout out there to Ronnie there in the States. Great to see you on here. Must be, I don't know what the time is. Must be with you now. Must be early in the morning there. Best place to obtain porcelain slabs at trade prices. Oh, that's a tough one. I think what you'll find is that everyone is very competitive at the moment. We were in Jewson's the other day, and I don't buy my porcelain from there, but we asked the question how the porcelain compared to sandstone. This is interesting, John Ward and Justin. And their project pack, I can't quote exactly what it was in the sandstone, but it worked out at £30 a square metre. And it was on par with the porcelain paving. So we've seen some porcelain paving at the front of the counter, and I thought I'd ask the question about the sandstone. They're not selling so much of the sandstone at the moment, and I asked them how it compared with the porcelain that was at the desk in front of us. And to be honest, I don't know who was the porcelain from, because at Jewson's I believe that you can get from many different suppliers. They'll do that for you. So and it was incomparable. But what you need to do, don't take my word for it, you need to phone up. I think there are a lot of people out there that are selling porcelain and sandstone now if they get over the sandstone, because everybody wants to be a reseller. It's the way of the world, isn't it, at the moment? Like, everybody wants to be on Amazon, they want to be selling products, they want to earn a passive income. But I don't think there is anything as a passive income, because at some point you have had to produce some material in some way to get the royalties off it if you're doing it that way. So passive incomes, tell me a little bit more about it. What's your opinion? Let me just go back to see what people are saying there. We've got Sean Johnson, love the videos, I'm in Essex and considering doing my garden fencing. Daunting task though. No, it's not, Sean, it's not a daunting task. Nicking wood loss, says John Ward to Rodney there. Absolutely brilliant. Sean Johnson says, good morning, and love the videos from Essex. He's considering doing his own garden fencing. Daunting task. Sean, it's not. If you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to anybody on this live stream now at the moment, I'm sure they would help you. If you feel that it is beyond you, then you have to consider getting a professional in to do that job for you. But it's not a daunting task. Step by step, that's what life is about. What we do, we research. If you don't know how to do it, you do your research. You find out what sort of materials, what's the benefits. You weigh up the pros and cons of whether you should be doing it, and you start looking into it. PW Landscapes. Hi John, Happy New Year. Is the Ruby DC 250 any good for cutting 35mm ribbon slabs? 35mm ribbon slabs. The old saw, it had a different height with a plunge, and I think you probably would just get that underneath there, but I will check that out for you. But yes, I think it is. Yeah, for sure. Certainly if you start on one side. But we can check that out. The new DC Expert 250 has a different plunge height than what the old saw had. But there are many, many benefits of the new saw, which I will talk about again, or now if you like. Love to chat. Rodney, I love to talk to you. If you want to take... If you're on Facebook, if you want to add me on Facebook, that's no problem at all. I'm not quite sure how we would do this at the moment, but even if you send me a link, send me an email. I'd love to have a chat to you. I'd love to know where you're from, what you're doing. I love what you guys are doing in the States because it's so diverse from one state to another state. There we go. John Wood says you can do PW landscapes, but change the blade. Personally, I would not let a concrete product near my ruby cutter. Use a still saw with a good blade. My advice. Yeah. Did he say sandstone, John, or did he say concrete? Just trying to look back there. PW says any good for cutting riven slabs. Well, you can get John. John would agree that you can get different blades for different products, of course. With the ruby. But John has a fair point there. If you're cutting concrete, I would use a still saw. If you've got one, that is. I would use a still saw. Andy Lee from Andy Groundworks in Liverpool. Good morning, mate. How's it going? We need a catch up. Brickwright says. Justin says, is the porcelain vitrified? And rectified, full body, and those prices though, lots of cheap and porcelain out there does compare to the price of the sandstone. Key to check if it is quality porcelain. This is the thing that we've touched upon many other times, and Justin has a fair point there, just to remind us of where we're at. Is the porcelain full bodied? All right, there are lots of other products out there where they're not quite manufacturing in the same way as what the Italians and the Spanish do. And I heard the other day that the Spanish get a lot of their stuff actually made in Italy, goes back to Spain, and then it gets stamped made in Spain because it's gone through the packaging process. So it's regarded as being made in Spain. I'll have to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I thought that we were using some porcelain recently that I found it really difficult to cut. But I think I've mastered it. Yeah, I think I've mastered how to cut porcelain, and I really am. There was a massive learning curve the other day, John Ward and Justin, on how to cut porcelain for me, and I'm more than happy to talk to you guys about it. Not that I don't want to share it, but it's how you're cutting it and where you go from. And I've discovered so much, and I want to share this at some point. But I am putting some videos together, and I can talk about it. I don't know if you've seen some of my videos lately, or on Instagram or on my social media platforms. I've been doing that double inlay, that picture frame. We've got a sandy colour main slab, then we revert to a charcoal, and then finally to the same colour for the final picture frame in the same colour as the main slab. And what we've done is we've got the L shape going round. I don't know what you guys actually think of that. I don't know whether you think that has any value, but for me it does. And the reason it does, because I think it looks good. It's a wraparound effect. I've seen it in the past in tiling. And that's the thing that we got to try and do. We got to look at the tiling industry and how they're producing these laying patterns and the methods they're using. Because whatever we think, we're laying porcelain outside and it's tiling outdoors. It's as simple as that. And if you start doing more cuts, more intricate cuts, you have to start considering what you're charging as well. Let me just go and see what people actually say there. 600 by 600 concrete PW landscapes. Use a still saw, use a constant saw. I wouldn't use that on a ruby, as John says. I didn't realise you was actually talking about concrete, to be honest. Peter Harker says, all right, John, Happy New Year, mate. Peter, Happy New Year to you. Hey, guys, when you join this live stream, it'd be good to just sort of just say where you're from. I just want to know where you're from and where this live stream is going out to today. Andy Groundwork says, looks awesome. I'll take it. I'll take you up on that, John. Ring you Monday if that's okay. Yeah, Justin, it's not because I don't want to share a secret. You know me, there's no secret about what I'm doing. I share everything I do, and if anyone benefits from it, it's absolutely fine. If people want to claim that it was theirs, that's absolutely fine. I don't really care. I want to share, I want to help, and I want to support the landscaping network. Also, the consumer as well. It's not just about the contractor. John Ward says some cheap porcelain on there. It's hard to cut and not calibrated to the same size. Be careful, porcelain is not the great product we think it is now, lads. Totally agree with John Ward. There's not a lot I disagree with John Ward. I don't think I've ever disagreed with anything he's ever said. He's an experienced guy, so if you've got any questions, just don't put them to me. Put them to Justin and John Ward on here now. They're here to help. Justin says, John, with porcelain is a nightmare to cut. I crap myself every time I cut it. Do you know, Justin, it's horrible sometimes, isn't it? When you want that intricate cut and you're cutting in the corners and it just goes. There's many ways of doing it. Stonehouse, Scotland, John, raining here too. You guys up north, you really have it tough up there. You really do. There's a lad called Darren Ross, I think his name is. He's up in Avonmore, and they have it. I mean, it's just awful. And that's the thing about across in the States. They have really extreme weather out there. It's really tough, and it really sort of has an impact on how they implement their working week. I want to know off you guys, if you've got anything to say this morning. I'm not running out of steam. I never run out of steam. I've got always plenty of things to say. I'm still thinking about John Ward calling me Brits up there with my glasses on. I thought I looked a little bit like Michael Caine, but I see his point now at the moment. Watching from sunny Liverpool, says Lee Handy. Lee, it's good to see you on here, mate, and we need to catch up. I've worked with Lee. Lee's come down and at me several times, and he's a cracking guy, and it's good to get him on here. Look, if you want to call in this morning, I'm waiting for your calls now. The number is 07795 664 002. If you want to give me a call, if you want to be part of this live stream, don't forget this live stream is supported by the tool guys at ITS. So couldn't share this morning on my community page the announcement that we were going live this morning. I had some artwork being done, but for some reason, once again, I couldn't do it on my phone. So I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? And I haven't got a secretary. I've got Debbie McGee, and she's absolutely magic. I usually cut the most intricate cuts only for the last bit to break off. So throw all your tools in the van and start again next day, lol. Peter Harkes, Cardiff is the wettest city in the UK, I think, mate. Good luck up there in Scotland. John, spot on. I can relate to that. Yeah, nothing worse, is there? Look, I've been cutting those picture frames. Also struggle with porcelain. If you have any tips, please share. Sent you a message on Green Top, says Rodney. Absolutely. We're going to get Rodney. Rod, I'm here. I'm available after. I sit down. I want to chew the fat with you. It's the saying we have in the UK. And if you use that in the United States, chewing the fat is having a talk. Love to hear off you. I love to hear off everybody. Just lately, I haven't had a lot of time simply because there's been lots of things going on. Have I played a part in with my grandson to sort of bring him on? And yeah, I have, but not as much as Charlotte and Alison. Alison's absolutely worn out. Charlotte's worn out, but they're great grandmother and a great mother, doing a great job with my grandson. So if you want to call in, I'm going to say it again. I'd love to have somebody call in. 07795 595 07795 664 002. So you can give us a call in this morning. I'm just giving out my number there. If you've got any questions, or if you want to drop me an email, info@greentoplandscapes. I'm just got to remind you guys that all the gifts that I was going to give away, I've got a list of addresses. Just got to get on and get it done. It's been so difficult over Christmas. I'm a bit slow with that side of things, but I do get it to people. I do deliver in the end. Yeah, porcelain. We're at it again, aren't we? It's trended. It's taken over from the sandstone. We seem to be talking about this all the time. But I want to know of you guys, are any of you guys still laying sandstone if you can actually get it out there? If you can actually still get in the sandstone. Chris Lucy's just joined this morning. Chris, been good to know where you're from. Morning, happy New Year. Hope you had a good Christmas and a fantastic Christmas. It was good to see our daughter coming home from Dubai. Yeah, the COVID thing is difficult at the moment, and all these PCR tests, these lateral flow tests, everything going on. And now I think the government has said that you don't have to have a test before you leave the country, only coming back in to the country. I don't know where all you guys stand with this and how you operate your business from day to day, but certainly for us as a landscape business, we don't really come into contact with anyone. In the morning, we don't really go to the shops to get anything, only the fuel, and we fuel up outside. We pay at the pump. We don't go inside and pay. We pay at the pump. we might go and get something to eat sometimes, but we make sure that if we do, we're masked up, we're away from everyone. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? For some businesses out there where they have to interact with people. I'll be honest, at the moment, our current client has family around, and she has COVID, and parents haven't got it. Strange, absolutely strange. I don't know what we do, to be honest. Let's just have a little look now at the moment. We've got Dan Herbert joined us. Justin says, still laying sandstone using Fairstone. Good product. Fairstone right now. Never stop loving sandstone as long as it's maintained. It's a lovely product. Absolutely right. And Justin picked up on a good point there, that the sandstone needs to be maintained. You can seal the sandstone, of course, as well, if you need to. Lee Duncan says, morning, John. Lee from AML Groundwork Contractors here in Scotland. It's great to have the guys in from Scotland. Joe, I'd be absolutely gutted if you had your independence, though you should have it, you're entitled to it, but I'd be gutted that you're pulling away from us, because I love the people in Scotland. I love Scotland in itself, and I need to get up there and visit a little bit more. Brilliant advice in the rammed earth, on the rammed earth. Yeah, rammed earth. Learn good knowledge from. Yeah, rammed earth. You get, just guys, listen, just go on there, type in earth ram wars on Google, check it out. It's going to be the next big thing after the wood burning that I was doing, but I haven't brought it all there. John Ward says, yes, sandstone patio done before Christmas. Must want my head examining, though. Lost a day for every day we worked, so not doing another patio till February now. Drives and extensions only for a bit. Extensions, John. That's interesting to know. Brickwright says, Justin says, good luck, Dan. Chris Lucy, good morning, watching from Paynton. That's what we want, when people come on and just say where they are. Down there in Paynton, what's the weather like, Chris? Just want to know what you're doing. Good to see you on this live feed this morning. Well said, Justin. Look after your sandstone paving. It's just like you clean your windows and it is pristine. Morning, Jane. Hope you and the boys are well. Luke DeCosta. Luke's on there. Yeah, it's just so important. We've talked about this before. We've had Ryan Boots from Elements Shield, and we talked about micropores in every surface, whether it's worktops, whether it's windows, whether it's the bonnet on your car. There are micropores. Everything gets dirty, so you need to keep it clean. And in order to keep it clean and to stop all the dirt being sucked down into the sandstone, you can actually put a sealer on, whether it's water-based, or you can actually use a solvent seal. But what you don't want to be doing is putting a sealer that's almost like a topical sealer, like a varnish that stops the stone breathing. That stone needs to breathe. It's a natural product. And yes, you can seal porcelain as well. So important. Let's just read who else we got on here. Peter Ark says, off topic, but what's your opinion, thoughts on raising patios up to DPM? Well, Steve Burrows. Steve, you need to call down and see me. Steve, come down and see me today, mate. Come down and see me. Steve Burrows, I've got something for you. What's my opinion about DPM? There are systems out there where they are building now, where they've got DPMs. The reconfiguration of the DPM in the cavity, in the brickwork is totally different, so you can actually come up to damp course level. The thing is, can you bring a patio up to damp course level? Yes, you can, but it depends on where and what distance you have. I've got to be careful what I say here, from your patio. Where the problem is when you get that bridging, when you get the touching, where the water is transferable across the DPM and it can ingress into your damp course. You have to really consider this if you're doing it. In some situations, it's always difficult, but you can actually keep a gap and avoid the water going through. In the bifolding doors, some of the new bifolding doors now, they have systems in there, and there are some expensive products out there where you can get the water to run down through the bifolding doors. You're up to damp course level, and it comes down and it follows a drain run. Where the problem is where you get bridging, where it's touching. It's not good at all. You need to put something down there, like John Wood says, French drain around, form a natural soak away, then the water can run through. Where the problem happens is when the water starts holding. So if you have a void, wherever that void is between your paving and your superstructure being the house, and you have a void going down that side of the house, as you don't want the water to hold up where it builds up. The water needs to keep flowing. You need a plug hole. It's as simple as that. A soak away, whatever you want to call it, but you need a plug hole to keep the water moving. You don't want it holding up and ingressing through the damp course. I spoke to a couple of architects a couple of years ago, and two brothers, and they both had different opinions. And there's a thing called thermal transfer with the bifold doors. He felt that what happens is the cold air drags, the warm air drags the cold air in, and it causes condensation. So there's another form of where you can get bridging through that, and that can be problematic. If you was to phone up the local authorities about it, they would all say best practice is 2 below damp course. Tony McCormack, the paving expert, talks about becoming, you can come up to 1 below damp course in domestic situations. They call it bending the rule in domestic situations, not commercial situations, where you can come up to 1 below damp, that's 75 mil. Have I come up to damp course level? Yes, but I've never compromised the damp course. Never had a problem ever again, ever since I've actually done it. Got to be careful what I'm actually saying here, because you don't want to give the wrong information out. Let's just see what people are saying. Allows you French drain around to form a natural soakaway to building regs. It's not a problem. There we are. Sort of John Ward there. Rodney, same here. Places sell it, but they don't understand the product, which is another situation. The suppliers and manufacturers not understanding the product they're having. Mario Rizzi, I've just purchased a rotary pressure washer, cleaning more sandstone patios than laying. What a great idea when you think at this time of the year, you know, spring is fast approaching. It's not far away, and this is the time maybe you have to start considering, if you are a consumer, to start getting things cleaned and put in place. So if you're thinking about a patio or a new patio, maybe get it restored initially and speak to a local contractor that has the knowledge that can give you the right advice about cleaning your patio and possibly sealing it. And if you are a contractor and you are a bit quiet at the moment, maybe this is what you should be marketing about maintenance of your patios. All patios, everything needs to be maintained. It's as simple as that. Mario, don't follow. Yeah, the bifolds we install now have a thermal bridging seal built in to stop the thermal transfer from the aluminium. There you go. That's what I talked about. And there again, this is how this channel works. John Ward has come back and he's actually putting it into practice. John, do you think you could actually send me a picture or something of that, what you're actually using sometime, so I can share it on here? In Cardiff Primark with the wife, I would rather be out in the rain working. It's in Primark. Steve Burrows out in Cardiff. And Steve, please call and see me, mate. I've got something here for you. You don't have to come in. If you're worried about the COVID thing, I can just pass it over the gate. I've got, not the COVID, I've got something here for you. Mary Ritz says I've purchased the rotary. So yeah, maintenance, so important. I don't do shopping. My wife doesn't let. This is what I like. This is how the community builds. It builds is when you guys come on here and you start talking to each other. It's great to see, and I'm just glad back doing these live streams again. Bifold doors we install now have a thermal building seal built in to stop the thermal transfer. The thermal transfer is the heat transfer or the temperature transfer, I should say rather. Just get rid of that. Just having something coming in. End tab. Hi John, wondering if you have any recommendations for putting a path in a gravel driveway. We forgot to put one in, and now the buggy is getting stuck. It's only 5 meters to the gate, and we want it's 1 meter wide. Well, very simple, to be honest. Look, listen, this is the community. NTAB has just said, hi John, wondering if you have any recommendations for putting a path in a gravel driveway. We forgot to put one in, and now the buggy is getting stuck. Yes, a nightmare. I've done that. I've brought up 3 kids, so I know what that's like. 1 meter wide, 1 meter wide. Any suggestions of you guys? Whereabouts are you first? And maybe you could send some pictures in, but you're going to need a path, aren't you? And if you're using that gravel driveway for your car, you've got to think about the path that you're putting in, that it can actually take the wheels, the traffic of the wheels of the cars that's going to be going over it. So it has to probably be laid, each slab or the path, you want to put concrete in first, And then if you want something to look aesthetically pleasing, then you're gonna have to stick on top your slabs. Chris Lucy, just trying to move on fast here now because there's a lot of people talking. Rain in here too. Our project is a 50 square meter sandstone patio. Our first sandstone patio for about 18 months. First for 18 months, incredible. Really looking forward to it. It will make a nice change. Yeah, when you've been laying things for a while and you just get stuck in that way, you want something different because you can get quite stale and stagnant about what you're doing. So that's not good at all, you know. And you want to refresh, you want to reboot, and you want a new start. So yeah, I see what Chris is saying there. Lay a new patio, make a change. Chris, if you want to drop me an email, I'd like to have a look at what you're actually doing. Send us a couple of pictures. Info, you can send it to info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk. Love to see what you're doing. What size gap do you leave when laying at DPC level to stop bridging? Well, for me, I always go 50 mil. I don't always lay it like up to damp course level, only if a customer wanted it, and I tell them then that, or in a situation where it's out of the ground was and there's no 2 bricks below damp course, and that's what you're dealing with. But it just depends. You just got to keep a void. I would go no less than 50 mil. But really, best practice should always be 2 below damp course, but you can come up to 1 below damp course. The thing is, what you don't want to do, you've got to fill it with lots of gravel. Don't just put slate in there. Slate is almost like clay. PEDs they call it in clay. And if you look at clay, the structure of clay is PEDs. It's like slate. And what happens, the water doesn't get through. If you are going to put anything down there, a French drain, you can put those super thin drains as well. But what you don't want, even with a super thin drain, you don't want it bridging, you don't want it touching, because the transfer, the bridging is what causes the problem. And you want the water to run down. So I would use a river eroded pebble, a pebble, okay? This is what we used to use years ago when we were doing pipe work. We would use pea gravel, because pea gravel is river eroded. It gets tumbled around and the water will run through it better than what it would if you put gravel or angular. Don't put limestone chippings in. Sometimes you can put that in to build up if you're really low, but you want a nice depth between down below, between your slabs and the house, so the water can run around and it doesn't build up. It just goes down and moves on. That's what we need to do. Nick Wall says, would the Ruby 850 be good enough to cut 20 mil porcelain for 2 small patios? Quotes of £300 to rent the Ruby 1250. £300 to rent. All I would say, Nick, is Carl Berry is from Rugby and he bought the 850 straight away and he made a mistake because it was too small. But when you actually think £300 plus to rent a saw, if you're doing more jobs again, I would get a bigger saw. If you're doing it for yourself, you just got to rent it. You just got to look at that, and that's where it is. So if you want to talk to me about that, happy to talk to you. We can get you rubies if you're looking for a ruby. We can help you out with that if you want to. We can sort and direct you. Let's see what Top Notch says, Pedro. Sorry, John, I've got to take the wife to buy a new sofa. They're all out shopping. They all got to do as their wife said. It's amazing, really. Sometimes you can speak to people during the day and you can give people a ring, or they give you a ring and they take the phone calls. They're in work. As soon as they go home at night time, they will not pick the phone up because they know that their wives will say, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Will do, mate. Just been really busy lately as I'm off to Australia this month. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Steve, please come down, even if it's just by the gate tomorrow. Send me a message, give me a call, 07795 595 994. Got something for you. You can have anything you like, really. John Ward says, yeah, I'll send one on Monday, mate, to you. It's totally rubber infill, stops the cold aluminium from outside being cold to touch on the inside, and it works. Interesting. That's the thing. You've got to start understanding about these bifolding doors. Justin from Brick Right says, driveway creates. Is that creates or create? I'm not sure. Sorry, Jeff. We won't be driving on the path in Dublin, NTAB. We won't be driving on it. We just need to get a path in. You just need to be laid on a mortar bed. You've got to make sure you've got a decent sub base underneath if you're not going to be driving on it. It can be a nightmare when you do a job and you think, oh my God, I should have done this, and then you have to revisit it. So I hope that all turns out for you. any problems, if you want to give us a call, drop us an email. If you want to talk about it, you can do that. It's no problem at all. Luca DeCosta says, how's everyone dealing with materials price-wise when it comes to pricing the jobs? Good question, good question. I think what you've got to try and do, you really got to get on it with your suppliers, and they've got to show a bit of loyalty to you, and in some respects they've got to take a little bit of the knock in the increase, and you have as well. And because sometimes those increases are for genuine reasons, but what you'll find is that some of these suppliers and merchants will take full advantage of the lack of products at the moment. So you need a frank conversation, I would say, with the people that are supplying you. Go and talk to them and say, look, you know, I'll show you some loyalty, but you need to show me some loyalty. It's a reciprocal thing. It's a partnership. That's what you got to try and do. They got to show some interest in you. Otherwise, you take your business elsewhere to someone who wants to deal with you and serve you properly. Lee Duncan says, up north in Scotland, we recommend a 300mm border around the house with pea gravel at a good depth, dressed up with nice chucky stones. There you are. There's Lee Duncan's up there in Scotland, 300mm. There you go. Good advice there from Lee. That's what they're doing up there. Joshua Rogers says, good morning, Johnyboy. Good morning, Josh. Good to see you on here. Let us know where you're from. Andy Groundworks. Lee says, what's your plan for the afternoon? You out with the dogs? Well, Lee, when the dogs are out, they're absolutely fine. But when it's raining, to get them out, they're a pain. They don't want to go out. But you get them out, but then they get in such a mess. Shad says, hey, buddy, how's it going, Shad? It's good to see you. Justice from Brickright says, driveway grids for a gravel path, I meant. Stop the push and sinking. There we are. There's the answer. NTAB, if you're watching, Justin's come up with an idea there. Driveway grids. Justin, thank you very much for that. Look, 42 minutes. It's flown by. I'm so pleased that I've been able to do this live stream and I haven't spat my chewing gum out. I had to have some chewing gum because, honest, my son said my breath smelled this morning. It's probably because I had 4 bottles of beer. That's what I had. Maybe 5. That was it. No more than that. I drank plenty of water. Do you know, I remember years ago, my brother-in-law, my sister always used to say, make sure, she said to me, John, make sure Martin drinks water. And Martin had a bit of a problem, not a little bit of a problem, he had a big problem. Unfortunately, he caught cancer, very, very close to him. And for whatever reason, he never drank the water when he was in work. It was his digestive system, and he had a bit of a problem drinking sometimes. And all I would say to you guys is that make sure you look after yourself. It's so important. I'm not saying that my brother-in-law, what he was doing was wrong in any way. All I'm saying, my sister said, make sure he drinks some water, and he never used to. And I used to try and encourage him, and it's because he had this problem in his digestive system, which is such a shame. So all I would say is that if you can, always look after yourself on a day-to-day basis. Think about your PPE. It's so important. And this is the one good thing about the Ruby at the moment, you know, and you can tell I've slowed down in my emotions, and now I'm talking on this live stream now, because when you've come as far as like Justin and John on here, and you know, we're not the experts in everything we do, and we're not. And there are other guys on here that just have equally probably better knowledge as well. But when we look back, Justin and John, you're listening now, when we look back over the years, there's lots of things that we would have done differently. And how many times have we used that steel saw and never had a water suppressant on it? It's not good. It's not good. Stick alive, Steve there. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing and think about your safety. The times I spent down in the local hospital, down the Gwent in A&E and in Worcester years ago, because I wasn't wearing glasses. Always learning, mate. That's what Justin says. Yeah, we're always learning. Please think about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And that's what I was saying about the Ruby. You can use those Ruby in a 15 cubic capacity room for about 3.5 hours without any dust mask. They've got like a little brush on the back. They've looked into this. It was made by a Dutch company. Even the little brush by the blade takes up all the dust. Just going to read what Joshua Rogers says. Hi John from Sheffield. Have you any tips when laying honed Indian sandstone, and when do you recommend applying sealants to patios? Big topic. Honed stone, different, and it's different to actually grout as well. You can use out there, Josh, there is a sacrificial sealer that you can use before pointing as well. It depends on how you're pointed. How soon would I seal a patio? It all depends on everywhere. If you think of a tiler, when he's working indoors and they're laid on a new screeded floor, I think they have to leave it over a month or 6 weeks before they can actually. You get these emissions of molecules that come out the concrete, and the same applies with outside. You know, a lot of guys are laying on a sub base. I lay on a lean mix. There's not a lot of cement with a lean mix. Josh Rogers, John's responded. John will come up with it's lots to talk about. It's trying to get it out. Sick Alive says 2 months. There you go. You just need the curing process to speed up a little bit. Sealing patios, mate. Always recommend sealing patios. Yeah, absolutely. You need to seal them, but I think what he was saying, John, was when you seal it, you just need that sandstone to breathe a little bit and just to get everything coming out of it before you start sealing it. Though if you use a sealer, you need to use a breathable sealer. When you think about what we're spending on a sandstone or a breathable natural stone patio, we're spending a lot of money and we want it to look good. So sealing it is good, but what we need to do, we need to seal it at the right time, and we need to seal it with the right products. Use breathable sealers. It's a breathable natural stone is breathable, and it needs to be allowed to breathe, because if you start putting a topical sealer on there, it won't breathe. That's when you start having the problems. For me, Ardex, the company called Ardex, which is Baal's sister company, they use a cement. Okay, they've got a cement where you can actually start laying, if you put a lean mix down, within a couple of hours. And I suppose that you could actually grout in there within a couple of hours as well. Not quite sure, but I'm going to be finding out about this. So you have to think about the products that you're actually using. It's a massive topic. You know, when you put that bed down first and you lay your paving, you have to think about it before you're sealing it, and also sometimes before you grout it. You've got to let it cure a little bit, because certainly you could actually lay your paving the one day, and then the next day it's going to rain for about 2 or 3 weeks, so you can't seal it, you can't point it, you can't grout it, because all the water is going to do, it's sending everything out. Off Ryan, I'm doing a live stream. Just end that call. Probably get a call back now in a minute. It may block me off, so if I have to go, I have to go. Lee Duncan said, "What is a lean mix?" Not a lean mix. A lean mix, Lee, is just sharp sand and cement mix you use. A lean mix is basically a weak concrete. So with all in is your stone, your sand, and then you put some cement in it. And the lean mix is used for road building. It's called dry lean, a lean mix. Very, very weak mix. I've seen it being laid at 99-1. But what I do is I put my LOT down, I put a lean mix on top, and for me it's just belt and braces. Some people think it's over-engineering. Over-engineering is better engineering, in my opinion. If it costs a little bit more, what it does, it ensures that you have more of a rigid system as opposed to a type 1. Just imagine you dig that patio out for a new patio, you dig the area out, and you've got a wall here, you've got the house here, and you're in a low spot. You get a thing called soil expansion, and the whole ground can lift and move. But what a lean mix will do, it forms a crust and keeps things together. Let's just go back now and have a little look what people are saying. It's good to see what people are saying. What is lean mix? So we've covered that now. Take that to one side. I always worry about my boys, insist on safety, but be careful out there. We are dealing with are using dangerous equipment. Yeah, absolutely. Justin said, I say 3 months depending on the weather, time of the year, but I'm not an expert. So, but you've got a good point there, Justin, because the weather can affect before you see it. Johnyboy, Justin Brickwright bet we've all cut stone without glasses, dust masks and ear defenders. It will catch us up. You in the late years, boys, please use them. Absolutely, absolutely. So important. Spot on, John Ward. Hope you and the lads are well, mate. Well, there you are. There's some of the questions that I actually answered. If you want to do a one-to-one with me anytime, I'm more than happy to do it. But obviously, I still need to make a living at what I'm doing. Rodney says 20mm porcelain tile is new in my part of the States. Problem is the dealers don't know much about the installation. Rodney, I know somebody in the States can actually tell you everything that you need to know about porcelain. So after this live stream, I will get onto Facebook. I will have a look what your message, and maybe we can have a chat. John Ward says, they say concrete cement cures 1mm every 24 hours. Hence, so I'm told, the Hoover Dam in America, still bits in the center have not fully cured because it can't breathe. There you are. What a brilliant example. Concrete is forever curing. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Andy Groundwork says, don't forget to like the video, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Before we go, because YouTube like the algorithms and the analytics, if we can get 21 likes on this video now. Lee, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, Lee. We're on 51 minutes 32. I think that's about it. Joe, I'm just looking at myself now, and it's much better, isn't it? The audio is good, as you've said, but you can actually see that the clarity is much better. For some reason, whether it was the weather, the wind's picked up a little bit now as well. I don't mean me. Guys, we are going to be getting, hopefully, fibre. There's something that's been happening with it as well. Too true, Justin. Hope you and the lads are well, coping the weather. They're talking. Lean mix is the way forwards. Sick of lies. Our Steve says lean mix is the way forward. It is. Batten braces. That's it. Look, listen, thanks for joining. 21 likes. 21 likes. Who was it that said before how we liked and how you liked the channel? I don't know. For some reason, I'm not a techie. It's as simple as that. But we've got the information out. We're building a community. You're talking to each other. This is Johnyboy, Saturday morning live, supported from the guys at ITS. Thanks for joining. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Don't forget, any problems, drop me a message. And there's plenty of the guys on here that you can actually talk to as well. It's not just about me. Thank you very much. We've nearly done an hour and it's flown by. All the best. That's it. I'm going. I got to get going. Have a great day. And Happy New Year.